நீங்க தான் இங்க இருக்கீங்க. one second.
चलो welcome you back.
I wish to invite Mr. Boaz Williams, who is a serial entrepreneur and startup incubator. Let us all welcome him to enlighten us.
ಸರಿ ನಾನು this morning.
Okay, among students, how many of you have seen me before?
All KCCNs.
Okay, no, even in ACC, there are some. Okay. So, what are we here for? We are going to learn Telugu. Sanskrit. Then? What? Ayyo, அந்த எக்ஸாமா? ஸ்கூல்ல என்ன சொன்னீங்களே? Did you finish the homework? Yes sir, I finished everything sir. I kept it on the table and came sir. Have you guys told or not? So, I've got a few things prepared for you, but since most of you are new here, I have a really favorite story of mine. This is a real life story, and I usually like sharing this story. This story actually helped me. It changed my life, and because of that, I usually share it with a lot of people, especially if it's in an environment like this. Are you all okay understanding me? Do you all understand what I'm speaking? Yeah, not a problem. Okay. So, like the chairman is about, I think, 28 or 29 years my senior. He studied in MCC before I was even born, or even before I was black. So, I studied much after he passed out, but one of his I would say contemporaries was my English professor. And this professor was really fantastic. He had a lot of life stories to teach us. And one of such life stories actually changed how I thought, how I interacted with people, how I looked at things, how I learned, and how I constantly look for something new every day. So there's this professor of mine who went on a world tour. And his first stop was in South Africa. He met an African professor who was also a literature professor. They were all very good in English. So these guys are, like the, how the English literature guys are, no? No, everyone's laughing, so you all know. So yeah, one such professor. So he went, met this guy. He's an African guy, an African origin English professor. And they spent some time. And they had another German professor who joined them, and they all went to New York. Now, I don't know if you people know New York, or at least the New Yorkers. பலகனை பிடிச்சவங்க பயங்கர துணு மனுஷனாவே மதிக்க மாட்டான். நீ என்ன after all New Delhi, not New York. That's how they behave, that's how they talk. So they are always in a very different state of mind, and they think the greatest in the world. And on their first day, when they just landed up there before their first program, this guy takes them all on a tour of some of the main places in the city. They walk through one particular street which is called Broadway. This is probably one of the most happening places in the world. There's opulence, there's money, there's, even if some of the movie stars go there, people won't look at them. That's how crazy this place is. And in such a place, this African guy tells everyone, the New Yorker, of course, is talking, saying that, hey, you know what, look at the skyscrapers, look at the tall buildings, look at this money, look at this big bank that is here, look at everything, this is New York. And the African guy says that it's funny, I can hear a cricket. Cricket என்ன தெரியுமா? நான் 11 லூஸ் விளையாடுவாங்க. IPL, not that. Do you all know what cricket is? Yes, sir. So he said, I can hear cricket. He said, nonsense, what's wrong with you? This is a concrete jungle. There's no cricket here. Impossible. The guy says, no, I definitely can hear a cricket. He goes, looks around the entire vicinity and looks in one of the bushes near one of the fancy clothes stores. Next to a mannequin is a small bush. There is a cricket. He pulls out the cricket with his hands and he says, I told you there was a cricket. There is a cricket. And he puts it back there. And that guy finally starts thinking, oh my God, I was ignorant and I did not listen to what this guy was saying. And then this African guy said, I will show you one more thing. And he took out, put his hand inside his pocket. This guy is not a very rich guy. So he put his hands into his pockets, took out a few coins that he had. He took out those few coins and he flung it up in the air. The street, which was so busy with all the fancy cars and rides and people, so busy to even look at each other. Everyone is so busy, they don't have time to look at each other and say hi. All of them stopped. லட்சக்கணக்கில் சம்பாதிக்கிறவன் ஆனா சில்லறைக்கு they all stopped and turned back and they looked. And this man said one thing very profound that actually changed my life. He said it depends on what you're looking for. Because if you're looking for it, you will find it. Okay? So today, as you guys are here for the next 2 days, I hope you guys are looking for something that will change your life and something that will change the way you think and the way you learn. Every day, if you're not learning at least one thing new, every month, if you're not making at least one new friend, and every year, if you're not changing someone's life, you're not alive. You guys understand? You're able to follow me so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we are talking about digital renaissance. From the heavy subject, light that other place using. So let's get back to the basics of what is written in the first 2 words. Digital, all of you know what is digital. What is it? Oh, digital is simple. Anyone wants to tell me what is digital? Online. So offline internet connection எல்லாமே வந்து நீங்க ஒரு word document create பண்ணா it's not a digital file. நீங்க தான் ஆன்லைன் சொன்னீங்க. Sorry? Say that again.
Technology.
Okay. Technology. What is technology? This bricks, you see all this second? அது ஆக்சுவலா ஃபேக்டரியில இருந்து வருது தெரியுமா? அது பண்றதுக்கு வந்து டெக்னாலஜி வேணும். அதெல்லாம் டிஜிட்டலா? டெக்னாலஜி யூஸ் பண்ணா டிஜிட்டல் ரைட்? சோ இந்த சென்டர் எல்லாம் டிஜிட்டல். இந்த பிளாஸ்டிக் சேர் பண்ண டெக்னாலஜி வேணுமா? பிளாஸ்டிக் சேர் பண்ண டெக்னாலஜி என்ன பத்தி நான் பண்ணுவேன்? Oh my god. காஃபி கப்பமே தூங்குறீங்களே, சாப்பிட்டா என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க? ஓகே, சோ சேர் பண்ண டெக்னாலஜி வேணும்னா பிராக்டிகல் தான் சொல்றேன். சோ இந்த சேர் டிஜிட்டல். சோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட்ல வேர்டே காலி. அப்ப ரிலேஷன்ஸ்க்குள்ள போவாங்க. ஆரம்பிச்சோமா டிஜிட்டல். Say that? Electronic. Very good. How do you define electronic? How do you define, what makes something electronic? Sorry? Okay, you give examples of electronic items. What makes anything electronic? One device, in the device I want device is electricity. Very good. Okay? It's computer, it uses electricity. Electronic is something that has to use electricity. And everything digital has to use ones and zeros. At least till quantum computing comes into, full-fledged use. Till then, we have only ones and zeros. Okay? Till that is used, till electricity is used. And the ones and zeros, every computer la vana seidana theriyuma? Every. The shop is up there. What? Machine language, you've gone 10 pages ahead. First page, What is that 1 and 0? How does that happen? Finally, you are telling me what it is. You are not telling me how it's generated. So, say that again. Okay, cool. So all of these are things that you need at a data stage. Okay. எத்தனை பேருக்கு ஷாக் அடிச்சிருக்கு? ஷாக் அடிக்காதவங்களுக்கு நான் டீச் பண்றது புரியாது. ஷாக் அடிச்சிருக்கா? அட்லீஸ்ட் பேட்டரி எப்படி நாக்கு வச்சு பார்த்துட்டீங்களா? அதெல்லாம் பண்ணிருக்கீங்க. எங்கேயா பேட்டரி எல்லாம் இப்ப இருக்குது? எந்த பேட்டரி பார்த்தீங்க? ஓகே, ஷாக் அடிச்சதா? அது சுறுசுறுன்னு ஒரு மாதிரி இருந்துச்சா? கரண்ட் பிளக்ல ஊட்டிங்களா கை குறுகுறுன்னு அடிக்கும். அது என்னன்னா there is something you'll have to go back to your physics class, probably back in 7th standard, when you had magnetism. Can you use magnetism to create electricity? Graph marjingala, origin x y 220 volts plus or minus, up and down and up and down. Up and down pona enna current? What current? Someone said it. Up and down. AC moment. Alternating current. Alternative. And manual pona direct DC. AC DC பாத்துட்டீங்களா? யாராவது பிளக்ல பக்கத்துல போய் பார்த்துட்டீங்களா? ஒரு நம்பர் எழுதிருக்கும். Have you noticed? Or even in your charger, in any of your electric devices, you can actually see there will be a number written. 50 volts. Volts is the watts is the consumption. Okay, you're talking about volts and watts. There's something else that is written there in the plug point, not on the device. 220 volt AC பக்கத்துல 50 Hz இருக்கும் பாத்தீங்களா? Hertz. That is where your digital begins. புரிஞ்சுதா? And the hertz is 50 hertz. So கை வச்சீங்கன்னா 1 second into 50 times it hits you. அதுதான் எப்படி சவுண்ட்? நல்ல சவுண்ட் பண்றீங்க. அந்த சவுண்ட் தான். அது 50 hertz. உங்க போன் எல்லாம் எவ்வளவு ஸ்பீடு? How fast is your phone or your computer or any of the devices you use? 4G. Okay, 4G is the technology that we use for wireless transmission. But how fast is your processor, your Snapdragon, whatever processor? Sorry, 8 is the RAM. That's your temporary memory. What is the speed of the phone? Intel Core, i-Core, i7, i5. So what's the speed that it defines there? Hertz and சொல்லிட்டேன். பாதி ஆன்சர் கொடுத்தாச்சு. Did I hear someone say something? What's the speed calculated in? Speed of your device. Gigahertz. Fantastic. Amazing. Gigahertz. Right. Beautiful. What is 1 gigahertz? என்னையா இவ்வளவு கேள்வி கேக்குறாங்க? 4 சொல்லு. பிரச்சனையாச்சு. 1024 ஸ்டார்டிங் எல்லாம் நல்லா இருந்துச்சு. You're right. 1 gigahertz is 1024 megahertz. Bytes is the பொருள். Hertz is the speed. புரிஞ்சுதா? ஒரு பிளேட் நிறைய பிரியாணி வச்சோம். பிரியாணி is the data. That is bytes. பைட் பண்ணி சாப்பிடுறோம்ல, வேற பைட் தான். பட் பிரியாணி இஸ் the பொருள். எவ்வளவு ஃபாஸ்டா சாப்பிடுறீங்க? ஸ்லோவா சாப்பிடுறீங்களா? ஃபாஸ்டா அப்படியே ஒரே பிளேட் ஒரே போட்டு முழுங்குறீங்களா? That is the speed. That is hertz. Okay? 1024 megahertz is 1 gigahertz. How much is 1 megahertz? Grandchild with grandmother porama. Great grandchild. 1024 kilohertz. How much is 1 kilohertz? One kilohertz is 1024 hertz. Okay, so how much is 1 gigahertz? 1024 into 1024 into 1024. Okay, so when you increase the speed of 1000 into 1000 into 1000, you're talking about 10 to the power of 8. That's the speed faster than the speed of sound. Purida, you guys have a small phone in your pocket which is working at 2.4 gigahertz. நம்ம சும்மா இங்க 50 hertz வச்சா இவ்வளவு ஷார்ப் அடிக்குது. 2.4 hertz. That is why they use a small battery which is only 8 volt or 12 volt. You guys understood now? Hereafter, will you understand what is digital?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next time, சும்மா ரீல்ஸ் மாத்திரம் போட்டு இப்படி தள்ளியே இருக்கிறது மாத்திரம் விட்டுட்டு please also learn something every day. Do you guys promise yourself? Don't promise me. Do you guys promise yourself? Will you learn something new every day?
Yes, sir.
Okay? All right. Now, Renaissance is another fantastic subject if you really like history. What is Renaissance?
Evolution.
Evolution. So, Cornwall much other than Renaissance.
How the system stops.
There's no right or wrong answers here. Everything is wrong to me, don't worry. So, what is Renaissance? Anyone? Conference வரதுக்கு முன்னாடி யாரோ என்னடா இது Renaissance ஏதோ ஆர்ல ஒரு வார்த்தை some words அது ஆர்ல that word only.
How it stops.
You didn't Google? Nobody searched for the word Renaissance. What's the meaning of the word Renaissance? Dictionary வந்து முன்னாடி பெரிய இருக்கும். Okay, இப்போ வந்து only வந்துச்சு. Is there one person here who Googled Renaissance? No, you're checking now. Nice professor. Okay. Renaissance. So understand the word Renaissance, you have to understand a few other things. Okay. Renaissance. The word means rebirth. Where does rebirth come from? Why did someone mention the word rebirth? Any idea? Between the 14th and the 17th century, there was a big revolution in the way people thought. People changed their way of thinking. And I'm not sure if you guys remember, in the morning, Chairman Dr. Sam said, and also Mr. Balaji also mentioned that an idea can change your life, can change everybody's life, can change the world, and it can change history. That happened during the period of 14th to 17th century. So Renaissance is a French word. Etymology of Renaissance is French. என்னடா ரெண்டு வார்த்தை கத்துட்டோம். Digital and Renaissance we learned. இன்னொரு வார்த்தை எதுவும் ஈல தெரியுது. இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு வார்த்தையை if I start teaching you now, I don't think you guys are going for lunch. Half of you are happy, half of you are upset. Etymology. Anything ending with the word logy, what does it mean? Study of. Right? Etymology is the study of words. Origin of words. English la catamaran அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. கட்டுமரம். கட்டுமரம் என்ன தெரியுமா? மரத்துல படகு, you know, back in the days, கையில் கட்டி ஒரு போட்ல போட்ல அதே இங்கிலீஷ்ல வேலை பார்ப்போம். That's a beautiful camera. So அதிலே பண்றோம். So அந்த cash ஓட hand is actually கட்டுவாங்க. Cash கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கீங்களா? ஐயா அதெல்லாம் என்னன்னே தெரியாது. எங்களுக்கெல்லாம் காசே கிடையாது. காசுல இருந்து வந்தது cash, right? So etymology of the word cash comes from the Tamil word காசு. புரியுதா? So etymology. Another thing. So when you guys study anything, give a little attention to every word you see. If you don't see it that way, you will not learn. And if you don't learn almost everything, you don't like it, you don't enjoy it. பிடிக்காது எதுக்கு பண்ற? Monday ஆனதும் show Monday டா. What to do? Friday ஆனதும் why we are jolly, TGIF, thank God it's Friday, right? Status போடுறீங்க. Yeah. Friendly ஆண்டா காட்டு மொத்தமா மாட்டிட்டு. All right. So when it comes to the etymology here, it's even before that. There was a Latin origin of the word Renaissance, and that is Renaissance. And that was the time when the New Age thinkers started, or their thinking was defined as New Age thinking. Before that, the guy took one stone, he threw it on one small bird, took it and ate it. That was the usual process, SOP, standard operating procedure. You see a bird, take a stone, throw, eat the bird, right? கொஞ்ச நாள் வந்து என்ன பண்ணா, one guy thought, ரெண்டு ஸ்டோன் வச்சு தேய்ச்சி பார்க்கலாம். Someone came straight from that period. So Dr. Surya Prasad thought, ரெண்டு பேர் thought, two birds he thought. So that could also be a great thought. So remarks. Put some mark யோசிக்கிறாங்க. So I have one more story to tell you. In the story, real story, actually, but nobody told me this. But this definitely happened, I swear. There was one big happy family which lived in a cave. Early man la pathina. Only he man la pathina. Have you seen the early man who used stones and spears and
Yes, sir.
stones to hit the birds, all of that?
Yes, sir.
The early man lived in a cave. What did they do? Computer science class.
They hunt and eat, sir.
Huh?
They hunt and eat, sir.
Hunting and gathering, right? Hunting and gathering is what they did. So, ஒரு அம்மாக்கு 4-5 children, at least minimum children, and the doctor we don't know. But one mother had 3 children. Neighbor came, one more lady came. என்னம்மா எப்படி இருக்கா? good போனா எப்படி இருக்கு? Oh yeah, we're all fine. Everything is going great. How are your children? Where are they? Oh, 5 children, 4 of them are out somewhere. They are hunting. Oh really? What do they hunt? Oh, they're not great. They bring elephant, tiger, lion, dinosaur, maybe, I don't know. Everything. கிடைக்கிறது ஓடுறது எல்லாத்தையும் கொண்டு வரோம். Very nice. We get good food. I'm very happy with all the 4 sons. 4 sons hunting பண்ணி சிங்கத்தெல்லாம் அடிச்சு கொண்டு வரான். Wow. சரி இன்னொரு பையன் பத்தி சொல்லவே இல்லையே. அது பெரிய பையன், அவன் வேஸ்ட். ஏமா வேஸ்ட் அப்படின்னா அவன் வந்து கேவுக்குள்ள உட்காந்து என்னத்தையோ வரைஞ்சிருக்கான். 5,000 years ago or many thousand years ago, there was one child who wasn't hunting gathering, but he was sitting and drawing. He was doing art inside a cave. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, there were people who created knives and spears and stones, hunting instruments, traps, everything. That is called technology, right? Knowledge of which animal will come at what time of the day. Is that science?
Yes.
But someone else did art. You guys want to guess which lasted the longest?
Art.
அப்ப என்ன சொன்னாங்க யூஸ்லெஸ் ஆர்ட் அதை வச்சு என்ன பண்றது சும்மா இதுல கேட்கல இப்பதான் ஏஷியன் பெயிண்ட்ஸ் okay so they were drawing and because of the art left by that one artist over a period of time, you know, every artist, we know the history of mankind and we could learn from our past and we could see where we are going. By the way, this painting is in India. It's in a place called Viveka, but the photograph is taken by someone from the West. So during the Renaissance, there were a few types of painting. You can never say which ones were very advanced, which were less. There were Renaissance thinkers, there were people who did Renaissance paintings, there were writers. So, Leonardo da Vinci. You can see no. On. Okay. Leonardo da Vinci was
Greatest painter.
one of the biggest. You can call him as the forefather of Renaissance movement. He was definitely the first guy to start a lot of works. He did a lot of scientific work. He did a lot of artistic work. He also wrote a lot of theories. In today's world, we can call it white papers. But he was one of the first. And then we have. Who's the next one? Yeah. Michelangelo. Have you guys heard of Michelangelo? His latest $1 billion. Dollar. He's that Yes, sir. He is all three of them. Yes. So, yes. You know what happened because of the telescope?
We can
We also have the hospital நம்ம கல்வி வந்தாங்க அந்த முடிக்கட்டே வந்தாங்க கல்வி he was able to see far away. They were able to measure distances. They were able to use these instruments which were a lot more than just simple stargazing equipment. And then discovered the United States. Renaissance innovators, thinkers, they were artists, and some of their points were very, very scientific and mathematical, which allowed the work of science. Now, let us look at one more interesting thing. Do any of you guys have an idea what this is? Fishing. What fish is that?
Dolphin.
Dolphin. Whale. Whale hunting was the most respectable job. இன்னைக்கு நம்ம கூகுள்ல வேலை செஞ்சா very respectable, right? Few hundred years ago, if you're whale hunter, the most respectable being on earth. And it's Sankaran கிடைக்கல sir. So, why were they hunting whales? Because they were non-vegetarians. Sorry, ma. What? Yes, sir.
It's not whale hamster.
Otherwise?
Whale hamster humans. It's not a human.
Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, but jokes apart, they were hunting whales for a particular reason. Any guesses why they were hunting whales?
Eat more number of fishes.
Sorry?
It will eat more number of fishes.
It will eat more number of fish. Okay, yeah, that's a different reason. But the whales was different. Teeth. Okay, for its teeth, yeah, whale teeth, bones are all ivory. That's what is considered ivory. That is also a very good reason, yes. But then there's another big reason why they were hunting whales.
Nutrition.
Invariably, yeah, they ate a bit of meat, bone and stuff. Correct. All of that, all of those are secondary. All of those are byproducts. Yes. Medicine was not really advanced during those days. Who said that? That is the one. Who said that? Oil. Yes. Lena. Oil. Whales were hunted. There was a story called Moby Dick. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie or read the book. Whale hunting was a big business back then, and best of the ships and boats were equipped for whale hunting, and people who went out, they were the richest. Like how Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates are very rich now, some of the Danish boats and even the English boats were the richest people on earth because they brought oil. They have to first capture the whale, hit a big hole on top of the whale's snout. They climb inside and pull out barrels of oil. Bullet was the only oil they knew back then. Back then they did not have pump to take oil from under the ground. And do you know what they used this oil for? This is why they use the oil for street lamps. And for a long time, for more than 250 years, there were street lamps only in few places. And that came from the whale oil. Adega and the New York and the very some of the places in European, capitalistic power centers they use. In other places, 6 o'clock so we were bound by time. We could not conquer time because when the sun goes down, we go down. Right? You can't stay up. Number 3 o'clock. There was no possibility of doing that back then. When the sun goes down, we have to go now. When man started creating the ability to use an artificial light, a system of illumination, the first step he did was he was able to conquer time. He could use more than 12 hours of a day. Do you guys understand how big that idea is? 12 hours man used to nothing issue. So, where did that idea come from? And how did that change? And eventually, of course, we had our Thomas Alva Edison and everyone else. We had our gas lanterns. About 100 years after this, we had gas lanterns, and then we had electricity. Now what do we have? Remote places where there is no power cables. What do we have? Solar, independent solar lights. So, what are we conquering when we do this? When we did solar, what did we do? We conquered the requirement for certain types of materials. We don't need such a big, stretch of wire. We don't need someone generating electricity for us. We don't have to expect a wind turbine or a turbine in a dam to work. Right? So when a new idea emerges, we will have the ability to obey. We had chariots. The old record chariot story was probably about 1,000 years ago. But established facts would give us that for 1,500 years, the chariots were regularly used by almost every country. And for the chariot, it's military technology. It's not for everyone. If you are a king and if you have an army, you can have a chariot. But almost 1,500 years later, what happened? The chariot became a simple object that a common man could use. Right? And that took 1,500 years. You know what's funny? The speed at which innovation is taking place. That's why I'm coming to this from the history of the from chariot to a common man's, let's say, cart. It took 1,500 years. And from a normal cart, a horse carriage, Any of you guys know what aircraft that is? That's an F-117. That's the most advanced fighter jet in the world today. Now, from the chariot to this plane is less than 200 years. Now, what is happening? Why did it take 1,500 years for that transition from whale to gas to electricity? It took more than 1,000 years. And from electricity to solar, it took only 25 years. From a chariot to a supersonic, a hypersonic jet plane, it's only 200 years. Why is it changing so soon? Almost answered it. In the digital, we started using art, science, and technology in a larger way and in a faster method. I think this was one of the first anybody by any chance, maybe the seniors, maybe the faculty members, anyone knows what's the full form of ENIAC? Difficult, yeah. Electronic numeric integrated alpha calculator, alphabetic calculator. So this was the size of a computer back then. This is one of the first computers. CPU என்ன தெரியுமா? கம்ப்யூட்டர் என்ன தெரியுமா? டிஜிட்டல் தெரியாது. Very nice. CPU, okay. Now that we talked about CPU, there are two more PUs that are come in present day technology. I'll ask you, maybe some of you will answer the second one. What is GPU? Graphic processing interface unit. Okay, graphic processing unit is GPU. Now, in the last 1.5 years, this has been new and it's graphic. Thank you. Now, there's something new that's come up. It's called NPU. It's very new. Neural. Not neutral, it's neural. Very good. Neural processing unit is needed for any high-end computing that we do for AI or ML or any of the new type of computing that you guys are doing. An NPU is required. So anyway, CPU look underrated, very good. In ENIAC, you know how big the CPU was? A human being had to get inside the CPU and do the calculations halfway through. That is how big this ENIAC was. Have any of you guys seen the present day processor? This processor could do 385 multiplications per second. I think that is still faster than most of this. Correct? Yes or no? Or you don't get calculate. I'll give you calculation problems now. No, sir. Oh, sir. Okay. Now, back as ENIAC. This is not even 100 years ago. All right. This is not even 100 years ago. A lot of you guys have this. Do you know how many transactions this can do per second? 11.64 trillion transactions per second. That is how much you need to do the scrolling. இவ்வளவு விஷயத்தை இந்த தண்டமானதுக்காக யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம். Hereafter we may use for useful things. Yeah, use have entertainment, but also use for something that is constructive, that is beneficial for you. So we all been seeing, is it new? Art, science, and technology. The intersection, combination of this, is it new? Or has this always been happening? Has it always been happening or is this new? Fusion of art, science, and technology, is it new? When did it start? Stone? Stone. Incidentally, the aeroplane I showed is from Blackbird. Okay. Have you guys heard of applications? இவ்வளவு you actually what are we conquering here? Space. Someone from Asian to say we are talking, or so people need not come to another location. Now, there are how many of you guys have used any apps? How many of you? How many? So, a lot of these apps allow people to connect work. Hello? Okay. ஏன்னா என்கிட்ட காசு இல்லை அப்படின்னு யார் காசு எங்க போகுது, யாருடைய கார் எங்க வருது, யாருடைய கஸ்டமர் எங்க போலாம், கன்ஃபியூஸ் பண்ணாங்க. இது ஆர்ட்ஸா சயின்ஸா டெக்னாலஜியா, right? So these apps have been able to change the way we do a lot. We traveling and things everything, right? So people were able to think on the box and think differently. I just have one more point. I'll close after that. Have you guys noticed? Out of 100 people or 500 people or 1,000 people, few people excel. A lot of others, they are not able, how much ever they try. Or right. Right. So why do some people excel and the other people don't? Have you guys thought about it? You may not know the answer, but I would definitely like. Some are excited, some people are not able to excel. Have any of you thought? யோசனை இது மாத்திரம் இல்லைங்க, நாங்க எதையுமே யோசிக்கிறது இல்லை. Why do some people accept? Why others don't? So, okay. What if there are people who are not in comfort zone? Okay. How do they have any other extra ability? Any other putting anything else like that? Yeah. Example வச்சுக்கலாம். சைக்கிள் எல்லாரும் சைக்கிள் ஓட்டுறீங்களா? எல்லாரும் சைக்கிள் ஓட்டுறீங்களா? ஏன் அப்ப நீங்க எல்லாம் போய் ஒலிம்பிக்ஸ்ல போய் கோல்ட் மெடல் வாங்க? இதுதான், that is exactly what I wanted. Super. I like that. Okay. Wow, cycle ஓட்ட தெரியும். அது ஒலிம்பிக்ஸ். What's wrong with you, man? நான் இந்த ஒலிம்பியா டெக் பார்க்கிட்டே போறது இல்ல. ஒலிம்பிக்ஸ் சீரிஸ். ஏன்? சைக்கிள் ஓட்டுறதுக்கு நல்லா தெரியும். சைக்கிள் தேவை. அப்புறம் பேலன்ஸ் ஓட்டுறதுக்கு பேலன்ஸ் தேவை, ஓட்ட தெரியும். வாங்க சொன்னேன். சரி, கை தேவை, கால் தேவை. So சைக்கிள் ஓட்டுறதுக்கு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சைக்கிள் தேவை. சைக்கிள் ஓட்ட தெரியுமா? நல்ல ஓட்ட தெரியும். You know balance. First இப்பலாம் இது இருக்கா தெரியல. When I was small, we didn't have these small cycles. Very few people had. I had one small cycle, but நிறைய பேர் அதெல்லாம் இருக்காது. பெரிய சைக்கிள் இருக்கு. There's something called monkey pedal. பாதி கால் ஓட்டுவாங்க. Okay, monkey pedal actually வந்து lot of people will learn cycle back in the days. And then ladies cycle came much later, but monkey pedal on a big cycle was the only way to do. Behind. The phone is connected. Joey, there's a phone behind that. So, cycle ஓட்டுறதுக்கு சைக்கிள் தேவை. கத்துக்கணும். Now you know how to ride a cycle. Okay? இதோட போதுமா சைக்கிள் ஓட்டிடலாமா? சைக்கிள் ஓட்டணும்ல டெய்லி தோணணும், இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் இருக்கணும், ரைட்? சோ சைக்கிள் ஓட்ட தெரியறதுல ஸ்கில். You need to have your skill and you need to have your passion. சைக்கிள் ஓட்டணும், இன்னைக்கு நான் மறுபடியும் ஓட்டுவேன். செய்வீர்களா? நீங்க தான் நம்பலாம். உங்களுக்கு தெரியுதுடா. சைக்கிள் ஓட்டுறதுக்கு நெக்ஸ்ட் passion வேணும். சைக்கிள் ஓட்டி போயிட்டு ஜாலியா you riding the cycle and you're going straight and நேரா ஏதோ ஒரு பெரிய லாரி வரும். ஓகே, அவன் என்ன வருது? நான் போறேன் பாருங்க, நேரா போய் முட்டை என்ன லாரி ஹெவியா டேமேஜ் ஆயிடும்ல. நீங்க right? So what do you need? You need the right attitude. Right? You need the right attitude. This is not good for me. This is good for me. Should I do this? Should I not do this? Right. You need to understand and think and take decisions based on that. So, if you need to ride a cycle, what do you need? Attitude, skill, and passion. ASP. Remember this. Replace cycle with anything. If you want to get rich, you want to be satisfied. You want to pass that horrible exam. Check it. Exam, right? Statistics, sir. So if you want to do that, replace cycle with anything. You want $1 million? get your skill, get your attitude, get your passion in place, and you will be able to achieve it. And now, the most important part is Renaissance. There's something called as a Renaissance man. Now, a lot of women here, terminology of which we can call Renaissance people or Renaissance humans, but there's a scientific terminology for people who are called Renaissance people. It's called a polymath. A polymath is someone who is very good in multiple disciplines. சைக்கிள் ஓட்ட மாத்திரம் தெரிஞ்சா போதாது, டிராஃபிக் ரூல்ஸ் தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும், லாரி பிரேக் அடிக்குமா இல்லையா தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும், இது ஹைவே நம்ம தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும், சைக்கிளுக்கு அப்பப்போ காத்தடிக்கணும், செக் பண்ணணும், ஆயில்லாம் செக் பண்ணணும், சைக்கிள் செயின் ஆயில் விடுவாங்க, அடிக்கடி சைக்கிள் ஓட்டுறது கண்டுபிடிச்சிடலாம், இல்லாட்டி கரெக்டாக சவுண்ட் வரும். But you know, there are, like I said, replace with anything else. Okay, replace cycle with anything that you like. You have to become a polymath. You want to be an Instagram creator, for example, age group. You want to become an Instagram, presenter. If you just think about, looking nice and great, makeup and one nice dress, that is not going to sell. What are you going to present? There's something called a storyboard. You have to create a storyboard. You have to create a theme. You have to prepare what you're going to talk. There are people. There's a girl called Shehnaz Treshri. How many of you people have seen her? Shehnaz Treshri, she's a big Instagram influencer. She's pretty big. She spends about 6 hours every day preparing for her one shoot. She's an Instagram millionaire, but if you have to do something, you have to prepare for it, and you have to do something there. You want to become a rocket scientist? Sir, English literature, no problem. Rocket English, it will not stop you. Now, what about that? But if you learn, if you become a polymath is a person who has broad understanding of multiple subjects, and he knows those subjects in detail. And if you guys don't do that, you will miss the digital Renaissance plus. There are a lot of people who are horse riders. 1920, horse riding. 1910, 1920, horse riding was a big business. And horse riding was a big profession. And everybody who had horses were rich people. இன்னைக்கு horse, normally actually நான் நேத்து ஒரு horse பாத்தீங்களா? In some more time, we will not see car drivers. There won't be cars. There won't be car drivers. Most of these jobs, there won't be me. Someone will not talk like this. Maybe a robo will talk for the next generation. Or maybe they will say, come here, put one chicken to the head and say, conference, what did you want? Get it? If you don't become a polymath, you will miss out on the digital renaissance that is happening right now. Okay? Whatever you remember from today, learn something new every day. Right? Make a friend at least one friend in a month. Make a friend in every city and of course, I literally have a friend in every city. And age doesn't matter. The chairman of the college is actually a friend of mine. He's not my relative or anything. Make a friend everywhere. And make sure you change somebody's life. At least once in your lifetime. If you're not doing it, you're not even living. And if you're not learning something new every day, and if you're not going to become a polymath, you will miss the digital renaissance bus. Thank you all. இன்னொரு 23 ஸ்லைடு இருந்துச்சுமா? I'll show you guys what all. நான் பேசிட்டோமா எல்லாத்தையும்? இன்னும் முடியல. Thank you guys. Have a good lunch. Oh.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, sir, for the lively, inspiring words.
Now I request Dr. Kumaravel sir to give momentum to Mr. Vidya Raghavan sir. Also, I would like to request Dr. Mohan Sundaram sir to give momentum to the young friend. To both the young friends. We shall now break for lunch. A delicious lunch has been arranged for all of us. We request you to please enjoy lunch and kindly assemble back by 2:30 p.m. for the next session. Thank you.